remember when we first brought her home, and she used to run all over the yard, and of course she was very little at the time, and we used to bring her inside, and she would gnaw on my toe. That's actually how she spent most of her time, teething, gnawing on my toe, and I used to just lie there or sit there and put my foot out, and there she would be, just chewing away at my toe. Of course, feeding was a big deal with her. I used to cook for her. I used to make her little bowls of cut up chicken or meat or something, and I'd put it down with a glass of water. Sometimes I would put grape juice down, or in the summer I would give her like a popsicle cut up, something like that. Anyways, we took her to the veterinarian because this had been going on for 2 years. And the veterinarian said, "Look, if you continue to give her this kind of food, she's gonna die in a couple of years. You need to make sure you give her like kibble or something else, or whatever the dog food was called." And so we thought, "Oh my God, she's gonna die. We better feed her this kibble." So we went out and bought it. It was this gross stuff that looked like it was made of sandpaper or anything. So we put it down on the kitchen floor, and the veterinarian had told us, "Look, she'll be really hungry because you've given her people food for so long. She'll be really hungry for a day or 2 days, but eventually she'll eat this kibble stuff, and then she won't remember what people food tasted like, so it'll be all fine." Anyways, the first day we put the kibble down in a little bowl, and she walked up to it, smelled it, and walked away. So I thought, okay, well, that's fine. I was used to, of course, giving her this amazing meal every day of chicken or meat, like I said, and all the other good stuff. Anyway, the next day came around, and we put the little kibble thing in the bowl again, and she walked by it again, and she didn't eat, and that was 2 days. Anyways, 3 days later, 5 days going in, she's barely moving. She's pulling herself across the floor, and we put the kibble out again, and she's dying. She's not eating at all, and she looks at the kibble and drags herself into the corner. And so we'd finally had enough, and we went back to giving her cut up chicken and meat and all people food and all of that. And she ran over and ate it, and that's how she defeated us with what food she was going to get. And the veterinarian was wrong because she lived 18 years. So what did he know? Anyway, she also used to run around in the backyard, and she thought she owned the backyard. And anytime a neighbor would come visit us, she would bark. She would bark at them, and she would try to nip at their heels. But what she hated most in the backyard was any bird that landed in the backyard. She would chase after the bird, and she would go flying after the bird. And she never caught a bird. She couldn't catch a bird. Of course, because she was, Jamocha was tiny and small, and she couldn't catch anything. Anyway, one day she's lying on the kitchen floor, and a bird must have come flying into the window and it hit the window, and it was wounded, and she was scratching at the door, and she wanted to get out. We let her outside, and this poor bird, she was chasing this bird around, and anyway, she ended up catching the bird, and she had it in her teeth, and she was so proud, the proudest day of her life. And unfortunately, what I did was I opened the door to try to get her to let go of the bird. She ran into the house with the bird, and we never knew where she hid the bird until we heard a scream from down in the basement when the housekeeper was down looking behind the couch, and of course found a dead bird with huge teeth marks in it. The other thing about her is she couldn't swim, which is weird, because she should have been able to swim. And so whenever I went swimming in the pool, she would just run up and down beside me, running up and down, barking, going crazy. She used to bark at anyone who went in the pool. She'd bark like crazy, the same way she barked at the vacuum cleaner. Anyway, she never went in the water. And one time we thought, you know what, she should go in the water because it was a hot day and all of that. And of course she should be able to swim because she should be able to at least do the dog paddle or something. Anyway, we put her in the water, and she did the dog paddle for about 2 seconds, and then she sunk right to the bottom of the pool. So we had to jump in and rescue her all the time. And anytime she fell in the pool, we'd have to jump in and rescue her, which again was odd, because you think it would be sort of an innate thing to be able to swim. Anyways, she lived with us for many years, and there were five kids in the family, and I was her favorite. If I was away for a long period of time, she'd wait on the windowsill for me, and when I came home, she would get so excited, she would jump up and down, and she'd actually pee on the floor. That's how excited she was. And when I was home, because I was away at university, and if I came home for a weekend or something, she'd sleep over my head on the pillow of my head, which wasn't that comfortable, to be quite honest with you. And I'd often throw her off the bed in the middle of the night and go back to sleep. And when I woke up, she was sleeping on my head again all the time. She liked most of the people in the family. She liked me the best, but she also kind of liked my mother, because my mother walked her and fed her and did all that. But she hated my sister Carolyn. So whenever Carolyn came in, the dog would always bark and growl at her. And Carolyn used to say to the dog, what are you doing? I've lived here for like 6 years. I've never liked Carolyn. Hated Carolyn. In fact, she hated Carolyn so much that she used to go upstairs to Carolyn's room and poo on her carpet. That's how much she hated. That's how much she hated Carolyn. And of course, we never ever toilet trained her. So she'd be just going anywhere in the house, and what would happen is she'd go so many times on the carpet in Carolyn's room that my parents would have to change the carpet every year, because that was her place to go, because it was her hatred of Carolyn led her to defile Carolyn's carpet and stuff like that, which again was a kind of weird thing as well.